Let it be noted that all commissioners are present. Wow, must be a sign of the apocalypse or something. I will take action on last month's commission meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
I understand that the vice chair had a correction.
Mr. Chairman, I did, thank you. Page 5 of 6. Says Vice Chairman Schlosser was concerned that if the commercial portion of the development was not feasible, it should strike commercial and put multifamily. Sorry, Vice Chairman Schlosser was concerned that if the multifamily portion of the development was not feasible due to the economy, would the applicant return to revise the Centerra land use again? That's it. Thank you.
I amend my motion to include the revision.
And I'll still second.
Okay. If you've got a motion and a second to approve the minutes as revised, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So ordered. All right, public comments. Is there any member of the public who wishes to speak to the commission on anything that is not on the agenda this evening? Now would be the time. Okay. Moving on, disclosure of ex parte communication. None for me either. Okay, moving on to old business. Case number 11-350-00001, the AT&T special use permit, and I will open the public hearing. Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commission members. This item was continued from last month to allow the applicant and residents time to meet over some concerns that they had, and give the applicant time to properly look at amending their proposal. With that, they did make some changes to the plan, which provided to you this evening. Mainly those changes included a new screen wall along the front and some additional landscaping, but the applicant can go more in depth into what exactly was changed. Staff, with the changes, we supported the application as the original format. We found these new changes enhance it further, so again, we are recommending approval subject to these stipulations. With that, Mr. Chairman, if I could, I could turn over to the applicant and go over some of the changes and some of his correspondence with the residents.
Right, thank you, Steve. Does any commission members have a question for staff? Right, thank you. The applicant, if you'd like to come up and address the commission.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Joe Angbrox. I'm with Bechtel Communications representing AT&T. Here today, I'm seeking a special use permit for a new wireless facility located in the Estrella Mountain community. The need for this facility, basically the propagation map that you see in front of you, Estrella Parkway is the featured black line that runs through. There's currently little to no coverage and a significant coverage gap in the residential area of Estrella Mountain, and very little coverage to no coverage on Estrella Parkway. The addition of the new facility will fill that significant coverage gap, and the proposal that you see in front of you with the cactus design and the structures designed to mimic the architecture and finishes of the Star Tower really give us the ability to provide coverage with the least obtrusive method of doing so. In reviewing the ordinance, the proposed facility meets all the requirements for issuance of a special use permit. There'll be very little impact on the residential neighborhoods or the neighborhood in general. The facility is unmanned, averages 1 to 2 maintenance visits a month after the site is built. Typical construction timeline is 4 to 6 weeks. There's no excessive noise or light generated. insulation inside the cabinets themselves. Any lighting on site will be set on motion detectors and will be shielded and pointed down to avoid any light pollution escaping the site. Like I said, regarding the hours of operation, the facility is unmanned. It does operate 24/7. It's fully alarmed and linked to a switching station in Maricopa County. If there were any problems, they would be addressed quickly. And the development is designed, like I said, to mimic the architecture of the Star Tower and the native plants in the area with the use of the saguaro cactus. Regarding community involvement, about a month ago, we asked for a continuance so we could meet with the neighbors. We did that. Most of the concerns were aesthetic in nature. How are we going to soften the view from the south? We added, and you'll see in your latest plans, an additional screen wall. It's curvy linear to match the Star Tower. It'll provide additional screening from the south, and we added a landscape plan to include the addition of 4 additional saguaros, a couple of mesquite or palo verde trees, and several other desert plants. I spoke with some of the residents today. The ones I've spoke to seem to be pleased with the changes, and it seems like we're on the right path to really solving everyone's issues with the aesthetic problems. Really, just be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Enbrock. Does any commission member have questions for the applicant? All right, thank you. And there is one person who has signed in to speak, Diane Hanneman. If you'd state your name and address for the record, please.
Diane Hanneman, 12760 South 179 Drive, Decatur, Arizona. I asked that the Planning and Zoning Commission delay making a recommendation to City Council until Newland, a party who stands to gain financially from this arrangement, do the 3 following things. One, that Newland and the applicant inform the Estrella community, the people who will regularly drive by this installation, of the proposal via Newland's community website, forum, email e-blast, community newsletter, and community meetings such as the annual meeting held next week. To this point, they haven't used any of those means to inform the community of what's going on. Newland only held a meeting after residents discovered the topic was under discussion at your your July meeting. The meeting they held was by word of mouth, and people were given conflicting times on when it would be happening. Newland stated at that meeting that they had been working on the project for 11 months, and too much money had been spent to make any changes. And the residents were asking for some changes. They wanted the installation to be in a different place, and we were told that hundreds of thousands had been spent, and that it could only be moved 5 feet at most. And yes, aesthetic issues were also discussed at that meeting. Like I said, requests were made at that meeting, but not all issues have been addressed, and wider dissemination of the proposal has not been made. This meeting was not included in the weekly email. This meeting tonight was not included in the weekly email about meetings happening this week that they send out to the community. 2, I'd like Newland to finalize a use agreement with the HOA, who owns the land and the parking facility that will be used regularly for this project as it now stands. And 3, I'd like Newland and the applicant to give more time to the residents to review the landscape changes. The document was sent out on 9/14 to 10 residents. There are 3,000 rooftops in the Estrella community. 10 people got the PDF on the changes 1 week ago. And I haven't been able to open the PDF yet. And I updated Adobe and I still can't get it open. I don't know what the updates are because I haven't. And I did not approach them. I haven't had time yet. But I would like maybe these 3 things to be addressed before you guys make your recommendation to City Council. Thanks.
Does any commission members have any questions for Ms. Hanneman? Okay. Thank you. Commission comments? Or
I guess I had a question for staff. How was the public or the residents there notified? How were they notified?
For this hearing?
This hearing or the July hearing or this application in general?
Well, for the first neighborhood meeting, we went with, our standard notification is a 500-foot mailing. And that, this is the application site here, so 500 feet. Captured about a few of these custom lots here, so staff expanded it down to at least grab that entire cul-de-sac. And included in that application or the notification was the HOA. So for the public hearing for this hearing, same kind of notification mailed to 500 feet. Also, a posting on the property and a notice in the newspaper.
Do you know if the HOA notified the residents? Or everybody within the HOA, or probably not? Or
That I do not know in terms of how the HOA goes and notifies residents. No, I can't answer that one.
All right, thank you.
Chairman, what were the, did the HOA weigh in at all? Did the HOA weigh into the application at all?
No, sir. Other than Newland's position, I mean, obviously they're in support, they're part of the party here. But other than that, not anything official from the HOA.
The HOA is still builder-owned or, resident?
My understanding of Mr. Tyke could probably go further into that, but I'm under understanding that there's a couple of associations that I think one is more Newland controlled than the other, but again, someone else could probably answer that better than I could.
Saw a hand up earlier. If you want to come and address, state your name and address for the record.
Pete Tyke, 38020 North 12th Avenue. I work with Newland Communities. I'm the project manager for this. This was e-blasted out, and so what we have is a group that ended up wanting to review it. Of course, we did. It was also sent out to that same group, and by e-blast, it goes out to anyone that is registered on the website with the HOA. I had no comments back. From that, we held the meeting. We had some concerns over the use of the parking lot, to which AT&T offered to give some money to the HOA, which I met with the group that showed up. When I met for the, excuse me, for the presentation of this, and the following week, I went back out, met with those that showed back up. At that time, AT&T had offered to pay for the use of the construction time, to which those people agreed it was fair. And then when the new plans came out, I sent those plans back out, to which I received one comment back. That was forwarded to Joe, that's who you met today with, correct? So that's who we met with today.
Right, thank you. Any other
Chairman,
questions?
can you ask everybody to please speak into their microphone, and if it's not turned on, please turn it on?
So noted.
Whispers don't come up.
All right, is there any questions for Mr. Tyke? Okay.
How many residents actually gave their opinions?
Well, the first meeting, there was 10 to 15, maybe 20. The second meeting, 2 showed up.
Thank you.
Ms. Hanneman, you wanted to make another point?
See, as you saw from the map, this is the entrance to the community. This is right now the main entry point. There is now the Cotton entrance, but this is near the Star Tower, the entrance to the community, which is supposed to have like 20,000 rooftops, I believe, something like that, long term. So as of right now, there aren't a lot of
rooftops there, but it is a prominent entry point to the community. As far as you were asking about HOA, this project has been handled through the developer only. The HOA was only told about this when it came up, as far as I know, and the residents who work with the HOA were only informed about this in July. And we were also told at the August meeting that the HOA wasn't informed because they didn't think it mattered to us. They didn't think the residents would be affected. They stand to gain financially by leasing this space out. The HOA owns the land 5 feet closer to the parking lot than where they put this. And we would have stood to gain financially, but they said that they wanted it on their land, and they didn't think we needed to be informed. And it was not e-blasted out. There are 1,400 email addresses that get e-blasted, and I get those e-blasts. It was not e-blasted out. I think you were misinformed, Pete, about that. It was word of mouth that I heard about it, and at a committee for the community, for the HOAs, and there was a lot of discussion of, well, they told us it was this time, well, so-and-so told us it was this time. It was not an informed meeting. And the meeting that he's speaking about the week later, I don't know about. So you asked about HOA. Does that clear about like the difference between and the HOA is the boards of the 2 HOAs in the community, and then the parent HOA over them are all majority held by the developer, for your information. Okay, thanks.
I have a question for you, actually. I know that you haven't had a chance to review the revised plans, but from what you do know about the plans in terms of the placement of the tower, what is your objection to it? Is it too close to the street? What do you want to see ideally?
I think the wall, as far as aesthetics on the wall that hides the equipment, we would have liked to have seen samples of the materials to see how it was going to match, and we'd also like it to be similar. I know they made an elevation change from what I've heard, the one person who did send comments back, but I don't know that that necessarily mirrors our current wall that surrounds the Star Tower. I think there are multiple elevations. It's a stacked stone wall with multiple loose-looking stones, and I think right now theirs is 2 straight walls. They weren't putting in a lot of vegetation, which I know some people expressed concerns at. And then the other thing was, why does it have to be there? That was one of our questions that we led off with. Why does it have to be so close to the Star Tower? Why does it have to be at such a prominent entry point to the community where our icon, our residential marquee is? And the comments to that were, we've already put hundreds of thousands of dollars into doing this, and it can't be changed now. So they weren't even really letting that be on the table for discussion.
Thank you.
Can I make a comment?
Commissioner Miller.
What's your name? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know your name.
Diane Hannum.
Last name?
Diane Hanneman?
Ms. Hanneman, I applaud you for coming out. When we had this hearing in July, there were actually more people here. I keep asking, where are the people? You know, if people have a real concern, where are they? And I do applaud you for stepping up, but even the people who were here in July aren't here today. So that says their absence speaks loudly.
Well, I think, though, omission does not equate acceptance. Like I said, there were 10 people on the email about the changes. I only heard about the meeting that I went to, that he got the list of 10 people to send this stuff to, through word of mouth. I do not know how that was disseminated originally. I just happened to be in a room in a meeting where it was mentioned, and was glad I was, and was glad I was able to make the meeting. Apparently I wasn't able to make the follow-up meeting. I know a lot of people don't show up, but I don't think enough people have been informed about this to begin with.
I still thank you. I think you're doing a great job.
Mr. Vice Chair.
I had another question for staff about notification. Was there, I didn't drive down there and I'm familiar with the site, but was there a sign posted there so all the residents knew what was going on?
Yes, there was. The sign was posted. We got the confirmation, so we know that the sign contractor did post it. And usually he posts it pretty close, probably within, either between the sidewalk and the curb or just past the sidewalk. That's his usual placement.
Okay, thank you.
Just my follow-up, that the sign was posted on Estrella Parkway,
Yes, I do have a picture. If,
so that everybody going in and out of Estrella has a pretty good chance of seeing it.
it would be, the problem with the signage on such a arterial street is, you know, if
Flow
you're
of
driving
traffic.
by, flow of traffic. Hopefully, though, it is something that grabs your attention, that if you do want to know what's going on, there's a parking lot right there, so we figured residents could go in and read the sign and become informed of what was being proposed right there. That's our hope with the sign.
Thank you.
Any other commission comments or questions?
Just to address the sign issue, I don't know when your sign was up. I haven't seen it. The speed limit on that road is 45 miles per hour, and it curves right, well, at 45 miles per hour. It curves just off the map here, but I've never seen the sign. And also, yes, there is a parking area, and that is a pedestrian use walkway to the Star Tower, but not a whole lot of people are using that in June, July, and August, when probably your sign was probably up June. But yeah, maybe in the spring or fall, you maybe would have gotten more walkers seeing it, but yeah, I can't say that my driving by it, I've ever seen it. I don't, if it's still there, I haven't seen it.
Chairman, I do have the picture, though it shows desert, which is not definitive. You know, that could be anywhere. Our instructions are usually pretty clear. We usually do not have problems. I will go out and check, but it's not something we usually have had a problem.
And Steve, you use a sign company too, who does this on a regular basis, posting the property by way of a description, a legal description or an address or whatnot. This is something that they do regularly. Right.
Yes, it's the same contract we've used for the last few years. We usually generate a map similar to something that our GIS would put out. Here's the location.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, I'm going to. Okay.
I just wanted to point out that there was a community meeting on July 7th that was not attended. Through Newland, we scheduled a second community meeting and postponed this procedure once because we thought that it was important that the community get some input. We met with the community back in August. We got input on the aesthetics and the design. We've made changes, and we feel that the use is appropriate for the property. Looks like staff suggests the same, and just wanted to point out that we are, with things like landscaping, aesthetics, wall samples, we are committed to working with the neighborhood through the commission process and through permitting as well, like we have throughout the initial process.
Thank you. I'm going to close the public hearing, and I will take commission action.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve case 11-350-0001.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Peters.
Second.
I've got a second from Commissioner Short. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, you have approved case 11-350-00001. Okay, no new business, staff communications?
Couple of items. In this last legislative session, the city's got hit with several bills that impact how we do business. One was House Bill 2500. It's another bill that we're dealing with. And we will be proposing an amendment to the zoning ordinance to conform to it. What it basically says is that political signs can now be put in the public rights-of-way. Before, our ordinance precludes that. Political signs in the public rights-of-way. Also provides that political signs may be put in the right-of-way 60 days before an election and have to be taken down 15 days after the election. Our ordinance only provides for political signs to be taken down 10 days after the election. So we will be proposing an amendment to our zoning ordinance to conform to this, this new legislation, and that'll be on your October P&Z for a public hearing. Let's see, the other one that I wanted to tell you about is October happens to be National Planning Month, and you know that we're going to start celebrating October 1st. And the mayor will be doing a proclamation at the October 3rd City Council meeting and recognizing citizen planners, and you're invited to come, and they will recognize your service and celebrate your service that evening. So that's National Planning Month, month of October, October 3rd, City Council meeting right here, 6 o'clock. So those are the two items I have. Anything? I don't have anything else. No question of me.
Commissioner Williams.
I just have a suggestion that maybe brought up by this case. You know, I understand you guys are pretty good at going out and putting up signs, but I guess maybe this suggests that on a high-speed, high-traffic road, that maybe instead of a one-sided flat sign parallel with the road, you should consider a wedge-shaped sign that would be more visible. People would have more time to read it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Thank you.
Perhaps a freeway pylon sign.
No, a temporary wedge-shaped sign.
Digital marquee there, yes. Okay.
Good lights.
All right, if there's nothing else before
Thank
the
you.
commission, we are adjourned.